So I know people are searching for this. They basically want to get a slow motion feature on their iPad or on any other device that doesn't really support it natively within the iOS. But I'm going to show you one thing that you can do in order to get slow motion out of any other iOS device or pretty much any camera. So let's begin with this video right now. If you know something about cameras in general, you know that every camera has a range of supported frame rates that it can shoot a video at. So on the iPhone X, just like you have right here, the highest frame rate you can get is 240 frames per second. And let me go to the camera settings right here in order to show you. So slow motion for me is set at 240 FPS, which stands for frames per second. And you know that if you have so many frames per second, if you slow it down to 30 frames per second, you're gonna get very nice, silky smooth footage. But with the iPad, you don't have that many options, and you are basically only stuck with 30 FPS, and you can only choose the resolution, which doesn't really play any role in this. So what can you do about it? On the newer iPads, however, you have the ability to use the slow motion feature, which is actually this one right here. It works pretty well. It's the 120 FPS, which looks pretty smooth if you ask me, but on the other iPads, like if you for example have something like this one, and this is the iPad mini first generation, and this one doesn't have anything like that. So in case you like this type of content, and if you have an iPad or any Apple device, then you should hit that subscribe button right now, because I don't want you to miss the future uploads and I want you to stay updated. And this one, as you can see, doesn't support the slow motion feature, and also the older iPhones like the iPhone 4S and older, and also the iPod Touches don't really support that, and that's why you need to do this. So because these type of devices don't support it natively, you can't just install something and add the ability for the camera to record slow motion. It's impossible. It's a hardware type of the thing, and if you don't have the iPad that supports it, no application will make it work for you. So right now you just have to fake it, and by faking it I mean you have two abilities. You can, for example, just shoot any kind of video you want, and this one will of course be saved to your camera roll, and this video can be brought to your video editing software on your computer. I'm using Premiere Pro by Adobe, but on other softwares it's going to work pretty much the very same way. So you need to bring it over to your timeline, and if you just slow it down, you're gonna see that it just looks terrible. This is not how it's supposed to look. It's really choppy, and this is not the slow motion effect that you wanted, just because of the lack of frame rates. So what you need to do is to fake these frame rates that are missing basically. For this you need to enable the effect called optical flow, which is really simple, and for you to create the slow motion effect, you, just like I said, have a couple of frames that are missing, and to create them you need to blend the previous and the next frame, and this is what the effect actually does. It blends the two frames together, making another new frame for every gap that we need to fill, and that's how we create a slow motion effect that looks pretty much good using only this old camera. So this is how you can do it. By the way, this doesn't only work on the iPad and on the Apple products. In case you have, for example, a video from the iPhone 7 that was shot only at 30 frames per second, this is how you can slow it down, of course manually or just faking it in the Premiere Pro or your editing software. So this is how you can do it. It doesn't only have to be from the iPad or iPhone, it can also be from your old camera or anything that you are using, so feel free to just slow it down that way. Or the second option that you have is to simply download an app which is called Slow Pro, or any other app which allows you to shoot video at 60 frames per second, which isn't really for slow motion, but you can still slow it down to 30 frames per second, and that will allow you to actually see a little bit or kind of like a slowed down video. So it works pretty normal way. You just open it up, you hit record, and then you slow it down. Now you can see that it is pretty smooth, so it's already a good sign that it should be working. Because if you head over to the real camera of the iPad, you can see that right now it is really choppy. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but it really is a difference, because this is 30 frames and that was 60 frames. So this is the difference, and these are the two things how you can slow the video down. Hopefully I have explained it properly to you, and if I did, I want you to hit that like button. Let me know that you like the video, and if you want to see more content like this, if you have an iPad and want to be updated in the future, simply smash that subscribe button right now, and see you in the next video. Have a nice day and see you in the next one. Peace out.